My name is Alex Coburn. I'm an anthropologist, safari guide, and wilderness explorer. With a habit for getting into some unusual situations.
Crashing bar, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
I've never been more uncomfortable in my life.
I wish I was somewhere warm. Fueled by a passion for wildlife, I search the world for conservation solutions. Because if you don't believe in climate change,
Best of luck to you.
It smells earthy and grassy.
And on this adventure, you're part of the team too.
I'm not even gonna finish sure. I'm just gonna shove this in my mouth.
It's so green and lush.
Sabona Shepard.
What the hell is happening?
This is nuts!
So let's go save the world.
Ten. Are we live? You know, it's always amazing. We've got just these crazy amounts of cables and hardwares and math algorithms and insanity to make this work. I mean, the fact that I can be standing here in South Africa and talking to who knows where, potentially the entire globe, blows my mind every single time. And to be doing it from such a unique place like the Painted Dog headquarters, I mean, take a look at this. Let's just quickly take a peek. The amount of math going on in this room blows my mind every single time. And again, from my point of view, I'm a long way from home, guys. I'm from California. I'm 10,000 miles from my home, and I have to address one question right out of the gate here. Why Africa? It's a great question, and I get it all the time back at home, and I came prepared here. I've got some show and tell for you. This is why. Why Africa? So, as a young man, I was in second grade, and we went on a class field trip to the zoo. And at the zoo, I saw all kinds of animals. But my mom, who I know is watching, hey mom, had sent me along with $5 whole. She said I could buy anything I wanted in the gift shop. So by the end of the field trip, we went into the shop, and hanging there was this little guy, just like this. And I thought, well, he looks rather cute. I want to take him home. I have $5. I saw the sign above him said $4.99, and I thought in my little second grade brain, I have exactly enough money because I have $5. Because I didn't know what taxes were at that point. So I grabbed him off the shelf, went up to the stand, and realized immediately I did not, in fact, have enough money for this little guy. I actually was off by quite a lot. But fortunately, my friend's mom was just behind me, and she helped me pick him up. And he became my favorite toy, monkey. We went on many adventures together, and now we're on adventures in Africa together. But it wasn't until fourth grade that we had to do animal reports. Now, just take a good, quick look at him. He is, in fact, brown. To which I thought, oh, clearly, this is a species of animal. This is the brown monkey. I invented it in my mind, and I thought, yes, this must be something. Which it is not. I have to tell you all right now, there is no such thing as just simply the brown monkey species, but what did I know? I was in fourth grade at the time. So I was very stubborn and argued with my teacher, yes, in fact, it is a species, and I'm going to do my whole report on it. Turns out, again, no, I'm wrong. So I did my report on chimpanzees, right? You remember this. We went to the zoo and watched chimps for I don't know, hours. I was mesmerized because in my brain, I didn't quite have my khaki duds yet, but I was Jane Goodall somewhere in the jungle watching these chimpanzees. And then came time to do the report in front of the class. So we've got, you guys can be the class for a second. And my mom had bought me this chimp mask. Mom had quite a lot to do with the fact that I'm standing here in khaki right now. She said, what if you put the mask on the back of your head and started the show something like this? So picture there's a chimp here, right? Do you know that chimpanzees and humans are related? And it was something about that specific moment that triggered in my fourth grade brain, this feels right. Communicating nature to people all over the world. That's what I want to do with the rest of my life, and is arguably the reason I am standing in this impressive room full of math. Now, what we're trying to set up for you guys today is you're just as much a part of our crew. We've got Marcel on camera, wave to the people. You're just as much part of our crew as all of us are here. And what we're doing is shooting a very short mini doc all about Painted Dog TV. So along the way, come on, let's go through this way. Along the way, please let us know if you have questions, comments, concerns. If there's a shot that you see that we're not quite getting, I think you should let us know. We're going to just pop in here. I want to show you where the brains of this operation are working. In fact, just real quickly though, we've got Chloe there on the couch. What's a doghouse without a dog, right? But I just want to quickly show you the brains of the operation, because I, for one, think this is absolutely hilarious. Now, just come on over here into the kitchen for a second. This, my friends, is a magnificent old refrigerator of some variety, probably for meat or something. I don't know. The house looks pretty old. I'd say this house is probably 50s, 60s maybe. Inside of this refrigerator, the brains of Painted Dog TV, we've got William. Now, I apologize if this is insulting. Come on down. You look like Vincent van Gogh, and I think that's fantastic. Yeah, you're a genius, just like Van Gogh. You're a genius with tech. Now, come on in here just a brief second.
End up cutting off his ear?
Please don't cut your ear off. That would be bad. This is an amazing array of stuff that you've got going on here. First off, what is this?
This is the final control room, where all our video feeds come in.
Okay.
We mix it together and turn it into one product. It goes out.
So we're bouncing off satellites all over the world?
Not really. Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi, yeah. And why this room? Was it just convenient?
Yeah, but it was unused, and this used to be like just a little storeroom. And then we used to have our control room in the office, and then with the editors in there, and I think a lot. It's busy. It's just a bit of a mess, you know?
Yeah, well, I think this setup's way better. I mean, you've got literally a bunker that you're in, and streaming to the world. I mean, you guys have presented so many wonderful animal moments with people all over the world. Now, I do know that we have quite a lot of your Painted Dog community with us. Let me just pull this up real quick. Yeah, we've got, I just was quickly going through the chat before the show. We've got Connie and CJ and Cookie, Pam, Alex, Rob, Rachel, Victoria, Chris, Dylan, JL, Sandy, Jeff, Connie G, Mike, Michelle, Mitmus, Barbara, Wendy, Brandy, Gladicon. I'm sure there's a lot more. I'll have to check feed here in just a second. Just give me a moment to shut William back into his bunker. I'm thrilled you guys are here with us. And there's somebody I know, some of you already know, but for others, this is going to be a new encounter. How you doing, bud?
How are you, bro?
Good, good.
Okay,
This is Kai, everybody. What do you got going on?
trying to make coffee. I don't
Trying?
know whether I should go for tea or coffee.
Do you have a preference?
I think I'll go for tea this morning.
Tea.
Rooibos, yeah, rooibos.
So you've been guiding here how long?
I'm going for my sixth month now.
6 months now. And I take it you must like it. You've been around 6 months.
For sure, I love it. But do you need coffee or tea?
I think if I have another cup of coffee, my heart will explode. Should I go for tea then? I don't know. Let me just quickly check the chat to see if people have questions. How long have you been guiding overall, though? That's one I've got.
So I started guiding when I was in the bush in the local study center. That was 2018. But before that, I was a field ranger.
Field ranger.
Field ranger in the Sabi Sands.
So that's a big confusion, I think, especially for folks back in the States. Field rangers and field guides, two very different things, right?
Okay, so interestingly, I'm a qualified field ranger, I'm a qualified tracker, I'm a qualified field guide.
Okay, and what's the difference?
The difference is a tracker. It's a person who goes to the bush and follow tracks. Let's say maybe you come in the bush and then I would drive around or I just walk around and looking for fresh tracks of a particular animal, like
right.
For example a lion or leopard.
Right.
Then I follow that, find fresh track and follow, then I find it. And then after finding it, and I call my guide who will take or drive people, I guess, to a certain area where I found the lion. And a field ranger is like a security of the bush.
Security of the bush, I like that. Does it say it on your shirt, actually? Security of the bush?
It's like keeping out of the bush, like from plants to animals.
And that's a privilege, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of issue that faces our wild spaces. So to be the ones out there, what is that like, to be the one on foot protecting wildlife?
Oh, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. I won't lie to you. It's because what happens is you're not only worried about your safety or you're worried about animals and mostly poachers, because they also come into the bush armed and all that stuff. And then sometimes they do have these powerful rifles more than what we have, like something like that.
What do you normally carry? Can you say?
Yeah, I think it's, oh man. Can't say that. Yeah, but just big rifles, semi-automatic rifles, and it's, making sure that the bush is safe. And then field guiding, it's like you taking people on a game drive.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
like
yeah.
to visit Africa or certain place, and the person who's guiding you will taking you to all your bush experiences.
Yeah. Now,
Also great is that I'm also a wildlife presenter.
well, just quickly, the chat was saying they can hear the bird sounds in the background,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
is blowing my mind. I didn't realize the camera and the mic would be that good to pick that up.
Yeah.
You guys, this is such a cool setup you have. I mean, you're in the painted doghouse out here in the bush. Every day of your life, you wake up with those sounds out there. You know, when I'm back in California, I honestly have recordings of that playing always, because my goal is to be here as much as I possibly can. And when I'm there, it's like part of me has been like ripped out. So I just have those sounds playing to hear it. But I'm so thrilled everybody at home can hear that. What is, I mean, just having this, like this morning there was an elephant down trying to knock our gate down. That's not normal for most people, but it is for you.
Yeah, it is for us because what happens is we have these special trees called marula trees. So like the marulas out there, they're getting lesser and lesser in the bush because everyone's trying to feed on it.
Right.
Those fruits. So we have a few trees in the camp, so they smell nice to these elephants. So that's why they're trying to break in. So yeah, it's something normal because we know like when you do field guiding, field ranging, and tracking, you know, like you go through the module called like your animal behavior. So you have to read an animal behavior. You don't have to be worried if the animal is around you and stuff. Just look at the body language and stuff and know how to communicate with the animal. But it doesn't take a short time. It takes a while because an elephant is huge.
It is big, yeah.
It is huge. But yeah, hearing these things because like I love bird calls, man. I love birds.
And you do a pretty good night jar.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you do it? Let's put you on the spot. That's great. That's way better than I could do. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
We're going to get ready for drive. You enjoy yours. You went with tea?
Yeah, enjoy, man.
Solid choice.
Please find us a pangolin today.
Pangolin. Ah, you've put me on the hot seat now. Pangolin. Come on. I think we should say goodbye to William real quick. Bye, William. Thanks for running the show. So everybody, this is where it's all coming back to. Again, we've got Marcel on camera 1 for now, but we're about to jump out to the truck and meet Brent. And this is a completely different setup. So this is Brian.
How about everybody?
What is this thing you've got?
This is now our main live rig that we take out on the vehicle. So this sits on the back of the vehicle.
Come get a nice, I'm not the important thing here, this is.
Have a look. This is what we use to take everybody on the live safaris. It looks like a bit of a Frankenstein. We've got Mr. Frankenstein there making his monster.
That is incredible. And is it fairly heavy?
This is a little bit heavy, and as the drive goes on, it does get heavier. It weighs about 1 kg or 2. Do you want to feel that?
Yeah, I don't want to break it though. Whew, that is.
So you can imagine after holding this for an
2
hour or
hours.
2, it gets
So you've
a little
got
bit heavy.
big guns, yeah.
You got a gym, but you got to be strong.
Yeah, there's no gym here in the bush. You've got this instead. So what brought you into the world of camera operating? Because that, again, that's not a normal, like all of what you guys do is like not a normal career arc for most people.
For me, it was actually just a lucky break. I never actually wanted to be a cameraman. I'm actually trained as a 3D animator. But I was given a lucky opportunity to actually film meerkats in the Kalahari, and I took it. Always take the opportunities, folks. When opportunity comes a knocking, you've got to take it.
CJ says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi CJ. Hi everybody. Yeah, I was given a lucky opportunity, and the rest is history. Now I'm here. Can you believe it?
So we've got a question. Sorry, just I'm trying to catch up on chat. What are pangolin scales made out of? Kaya? I could answer it, but I'm going to put you back on the spot.
It's like our fingernails. It's made out of keratin.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing much that goes through that. But what happens is people, they believe that they cure certain illnesses and diseases. So yeah. Awareness, man.
Yeah, well, I think it's about time to go on drive. I'm seeing a lot of questions about what time is it here. It's about 5 in the morning, so it's still a bit dark outside, but we're going to be out with the dawn light. And what I'm hoping we hear, because you guys hear this every day, is the dawn chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that just so invigorating?
Oh, no, really.
Yeah.
As you head out there, you've got all the animals and the birds shouting, giving you an applause as you venture out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I love the feeling every time you go out on drive of like, what's going to happen today, right? Every time you go off into the bush, you could go left, like later we'll be doing this. You go left, there could be an elephant, immediate. You go right, there could be nothing for 3 hours.
The adage is, you never know what's around the next corner.
Make that a tagline somewhere. Well, let's go out on drive, everybody.
Cool.
Let's go meet Brent and see how this operation's all put together, because he's kind of the man with the plan here. He and William have cobbled this wonderful Frankenstein of Painted Dog TV together. I mean, we just, everywhere you look in the house, there's details of the one. In fact, actually here, if I could jump in, this is Animal House for real. In a weird way, but Animal House for real. So I'm going to head out to the truck with Brent. I'm still figuring out cameras. Are we good to, are you going to follow? Okay, cool. So I'm going to leave you guys here for a sec. We're going to switch over. I'll see you in just a moment. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Pleasure to be out here with you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I can't see anything. It's the light.
It's a bit dark.
Are you ready, Bebop?
I am indeed.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, someone's sitting on their comms, giving us a bit of feedback. Welcome, everyone. I'm Brent. Oh no, it's coming through here.
Yeah, I don't mean that.
Pause out. We'll watch here, so that's going to be a bit faster. We're just waiting for Badger. Let's see, can everyone... Okay, so nice and early.
So is this what they're seeing, or is this what we're seeing? Okay.
Both. It's what this camera's seeing, so not yet. We're still on this camera.
Ah, great.
There we go. Now we can see us. Hi, everyone. Okay, who's ready to go on safari?
I am. We are.
Yeah. So while I've been sitting here, I've heard lions roaring, I've heard hyenas. We can hear woodlands kingfisher, barred owlet, scops owlet, and it was one other nice one. Oh, phoenix nightjar.
Which we had Kai do in the kitchen.
Oh, did he? Well, it's quite, I love this time in the morning. It's sort of the changing of the guards. So we're going from the nocturnal birds, and now you can suddenly start hearing the morning birds, the doves and the kingfishers and stuff.
And it's that dawn chorus that I think is one of those things for me that fires me up.
Okay, we're just waiting for a reboot here on Brian's encoder. And then I think we're going to go on safari.
I saw lots of comments about what people were hoping to see, and it's fortunately completely mixed. So
oh, great.
It'll be hard to disappoint.
The one thing about a live safari is we're going to see what we're going to see. We can't plan. Nothing's scripted. And we'll see Vempi's obviously listening to us in final control. Vem, you give us the go-ahead. Okay. So this is the view you guys are going to be seeing the most of Alex and myself for the last one. So before we get going, we're going to send you back to final control so we can get out of the garden and into the bush for this morning's safari. Okay, welcome back. We've made it out of the gate. What we're going to do is we're going to head to an area called Impala Plains, which is a big open area which is favored by quite a lot of predators at this time of the morning. Now, a lot of people think getting up this early is horrible, but if you're on safari, you actually want to be up now, just as first light's creeping in. It's your best chance at seeing big cats and other wonderful creatures. And my favorite animal, which
From the space between the waves, one that brings me high like I'm needed.
Okay. Sorry about
Welcome
that
back.
little bit of breakup. We just went through a bit of a dip. Oh, what do we got out here? Well, Impala Plains, living up to its name. The first animal on safari. You can guess what it's going to be. I think I gave it away though.
They could still guess. Why not? There's a very slim chance you were misidentified.
Yes,
Very slim.
Very slim. So we're not going to put the bright light directly on an impala because it's a diurnal animal, and the big spotlights, if we focus them too much, can actually blind them and make them easy targets for lions and leopards. And we're here to observe, not to interfere.
So they're asking about where they can find more information about virtual scenes.
Well, very simple. You can just go to paintedog.tv.
Actually, one question I've always had is, on a reserve like this, how do they determine the names of the roads in the areas? Is it just whatever you were filming at the time, or is there a story involved?
There's sometimes a story involved. Sometimes it just looks like it should be named that. So quite often, a lot of the roads are to do with direction. So if we have Shonalanga, which is our big road that runs along the east, Shonalanga means basically where the sun comes up.
Okay.
So east in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a quick look to the east shortly. And at this time in the morning, I often come out here and we'll stop in the center of the plain and have a listen. Because what a lot of people don't realize is often the best way to find a lot of the more interesting creatures is with your ears. So either at this time of the morning, lions and leopards can often be quite vocal. And if they are on the move, if they're spotted by a prey species such as an impala or a wildebeest or a zebra, there will be lots of alarm calls, snorts and shouts and whatnot. So while we do that, I'll just tell everyone a little bit about where we are. So we are in the Greater Kruger National Park. So the Kruger National Park from about 1992 made a deal with a lot of the private farms that are on the western boundary. And what that meant is that these private farms that were previously fenced out of the national park, the fences were dropped and the animals were able to roam free. So it actually extended the park's range by quite a few hundred thousands of hectares. And there we go, we can see the east, the sun starting to pop up.
You have hopes for porcupines.
A little bit late. If we wanted porcupines, we would have had to be up a bit earlier. There's always a chance. So things like porcupines, aardvarks, civets, I mean, there's always a chance you catch a lazy one. But as a general rule, they go to bed just before the crepuscular animals wake up, because a lot of the predators are crepuscular, and they get up just after the crepuscular animals go to bed again. So most predators, particularly lions and leopards, are most active for the first hour before sunset and the 2 hours afterwards, and vice versa, the first 2 hours before sunrise and the last hour after sunrise. And then a lot of those small animals like to go hide before those big cats get mobile.
And folks are asking if these are open roads to the general public, or if it's private. Do you have to have a license to be doing this?
So this is a closed. Well, it's an open system to the Kruger National Park. We sit on about 5,000 or 6,000 acres of traverse that we can drive. However, to the north of us we can't drive, but the animals can go there. That's why we never know exactly what's going to be. There's no fences between us and the rest of the Greater Kruger. And so you have to be a qualified guide normally to drive here, or have very special landowner permission. Just listening. Those lions were tantalizingly close this morning. They're about 200 meters, 300 meters north of our boundary, and I was just hoping that they might sneak in. So we might check there a little bit later, but I think our main focus for this morning is going to be African painted dogs. So we're going to head up to the west towards an area called Leopard Dam, and hopefully we might get some luck in that area. If not, we'll head south and look for some ellies and buffalo and rhino.
Sounds beautiful. So while we're cruising around, I mean, this, like I was saying to the guys in the house, none of what you guys do is normal. And it's weird because define normal.
Yes.
How in the world have you all come to be doing this? How have you come to create Painted Dog? I mean, who is Brent?
Well, I'm going to start with a quote from my dad. The world is full of normal people. There's enough of them. So, well, I've had a very sort of, I suppose, blessed childhood. I've been living permanently in Big Five countries since I was about 5 years old. My dad started one of the largest safari companies in Africa, and when it got too big, he left, and then started up another safari company in northern Botswana, in the Okavango Delta. So my young years were spent on a reserve called Pinda in northern Zululand, where they actually took old farmland and converted it back to wildlife. And so I was going on rhino captures and elephant captures and lion captures and stuff from about the age of 5, 6 years old.
It's incredible.
And my teenage years were spent exploring one of the greatest wildernesses in Africa, the Okavango, Chobe, Linyanti system. And yeah, I briefly attempted university. Wasn't for me, so I ran away back to the bush. Actually ran away back to I went up to Zambia, and then I ran islands in Lake Kariba, did the management of those, and then I went back to work for my dad, and my first official job for my dad was a baboon minder. So I chased baboons out of a safari lodge when I was about 19, 20. That was my first proper job.
That's the best title I've ever heard, baboon minder.
Baboon minder. And then I graduated to tracker, and Kwando Safaris was the only company in Africa where we had a black African safari guide and a white tracker sitting on the front bonnet. And then camp management and guiding, and then it was sort of decided that I was a bit too feral, running around northern Botswana. So my dad's general manager and whatnot, they sent me off down to South Africa to a place called Singita, which is one of the sort of very well-established, well-known safari companies, and very, very different to what I was used to. I had hair down to here, I wore short shorts and sandals, and I just ran around in the bush pretty much. And then I got Singita, they made me put a belt on, made me put boots on, wear a collared shirt. It was very strange for the
normal
first
length
half.
shorts.
And I fought them on the shorts. I kept my short shorts. I don't know how people wear long shorts in the bush. You got to climb in and out of cars, and you got to get up trees, and you got to do stuff. People who wear long shorts obviously don't walk enough, or climb enough, or climb under cars, or fix things enough. And then from there, I've worked at various different safari lodges. I mean, I was at Londolozi. Then I went up and ran concessions in southern Tanzania. From Tanzania, I went up to Congo and Gabon, and then about, how many years ago now? About 7 or 8 years ago, I realized I definitely wanted to live and be in the bush, but I got tired of guiding people. And I was like, well, how do I stay in the bush while minimizing my contact with people? And I was like, wildlife cameraman. So I actually started off as a cameraman, worked on some really, really big projects as an assistant and a location expert. So basically, when you're a location expert, my job is to make sure the international film crews don't get flattened by elephants or eaten by lions or all that type of stuff.
I just want to quickly mention, it looks like Gladicon has won a secured spot on the whitelist for the naturalists.
Oh, well done, Gladicon.
Congratulations.
It's light enough now, we can say goodbye to that one. Yeah, so worked on sort of the follow-up to Meerkat Manor in the Kalahari Desert, and then we did a really interesting one called Deadly Predator Challenge for Animal Planet, which was cognition studies between lions and hyenas. Who was smarter? Obviously hyenas. I wouldn't go as far as say lions are stupid, but I'd say they're instinctual, which is a nice way of saying they're really stupid.
That's a political way of putting that, for sure.
So with the cognition studies, where how their eyes work and looking at whether they see in 3D or 2D. So we'd put up these cardboard or plyboard life-sized animals and see what the lions did. And the lions used to run in like they were getting a free meal, attack, and as soon as the two-dimensional thing was flat, the lions would be like, where'd it go? Where'd it go?
So peekaboo with babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
The hyenas, on the other hand, took one look at this thing and said, how stupid do you think I am, and walked past it. But that was quite interesting. That was with quite a lot of the top sort of scientists in their fields with lion and hyena research in Africa and in the world, actually. And then I went off again back up to the jungles of Central Africa, and I assessed the tourism potential of a 60,000 acre private concession inside Luongo National Park in Gabon, where the surfing hippos are, where the hippos go into the ocean and crocodiles go into the ocean. And then I was actually taking a break after that, and I ended up joining a company called Wild Earth, which does live game drives, etc. And was Wim, that's where I met Wim and Brian and Kaya and myself.
So legends in the making.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we were there for 4 years. We did over 50 live shows for National Geographic during the Safari Live series. And us at Painted Dog, we wanted to focus more on sort of conservation-based live streams, and while still doing what we're doing now, just going on a game drive, chatting to people. But our focus wanted to be on conservation, which obviously with my upbringing has been a firm focus, and it's basically entrenched in our company ethos. And again, to quote my father, geez, I'm sounding like my dad to that. Whatever you do, make sure you leave the world, even if it's just a slightly better place than you found it. So I believe by getting involved in a lot of the conservation operations that we do, we have done that. We've managed to raise quite a bit of money, particularly for African wild dogs, for rhinos and rhino dehornings. And in doing that, we've ended up with a sort of, it's always a joke, it's like we can't fit all the world firsts on our website. We've done the world's first ever live collaring of a free-roaming pack of African painted dogs, the world's first ever live rhino dehorning, the world's first ever live elephant capture, elephant collaring, first ever world live cheetah release, wild dog release. The first live wild dog release actually turned out to be quite hairy. This was a pack of wild dogs we had actually raised the funds to save. They were being threatened by a farmer. So we actually caught them, put them in a boma, found them a safe space. And as we sort of opened the boma gates, 3 male lions ran in.
Oh, wow.
And I actually jumped off the car and stood between the lions and the wild dogs, shouting at the lions, "Stop it! You behave yourself!" And the lions going at me, and then the dogs are going "oh" behind me. But yeah, that was quite fun.
Chaos, absolute chaos.
Absolute chaos, pandemonium. But yeah, so to give you a little idea about what we do in terms of that, I think we've got a lovely little clip that while we sort of move towards Leopard Dam, see if we can find any fresh tracks to show you what we do on the conservation live experiences. Hello and welcome to your very own private live virtual safari. Oh, giraffe! I told you I heard something. It's a giraffe.
The plight of Africa's rhinos is an ongoing saga. Private individuals, NGOs, government, and landowners are working tirelessly to save these incredibly endangered species. Rhino Revolution and Painted Dog TV will be hosting a free-to-air live broadcast of a rhino dehorning. And we need your help. Together.
Tarzan, which was going to be my next comment.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. We're still going very slowly along the edge of what we call the leopard drainage system. So there's a little dry riverbed that Brian is showing you now, and obviously we've seen quite a few leopards here, hence the name. And quite often at this time of the morning, what we're really looking for is the tracks or fresh tracks of animals. And we're going to stop again when we get to the waterhole and have another little listen.
BC Rub 1 has just won a seat on a virtual game drive.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
We look forward to having you with us. But of course, one must always remember that it's not always about the big hairies and scaries. And as it gets a bit lighter, there's lots of fascinating little things to look at, which we will be keeping a lookout for. What tracks have we got here? Just hyena. So we will be heading down. We've got some hyena dens in the south. So we will hopefully find some hyenas a little bit later. Go see if they're at home.
So people are asking more about why people consume rhino horn products. The last I read, Vietnam was the largest importer of rhino horn.
It is, and one of the largest users.
Yeah.
So
and it's not just about making your downstairs bigger.
That is the only thing it's not used for.
Yeah, it's a whole array of.
Yeah.
Use.
So I mean, headaches, hangovers, cancer, colds, flus.
Yeah. So it's being treated like ibuprofen, even though it's like we mentioned in the kitchen. Your fingernails and hair, it's keratin, so it's completely useless for any of those means. But you know, I think from a cultural point of view, this is a tricky thing to address because again, it's a belief, it's a held custom. It'd be like saying to the Italians, "Why do you drive Ferraris?" You know, it's a cool thing, it's a status symbol, and that's what rhino horns become. Right.
And also, we've got to remember that the Chinese culture is a couple of thousand years older than ours. Oh, now.
Roadblock.
This is what elephants do to your roads from time to time. So around the roadblock we go. I was going to check in.
How effective is dehorning and discouraging?
It's been very effective. So a lot of people think there's one answer to these problems. There's not. You need multiple solutions all working together simultaneously. Dehorning, anti-poaching, and education. And also economic reform in poor areas. So a lot of people don't realize that rhino poaching isn't actually a conservation issue. It's not like the runoff is destroying the land or the ground or whatnot. It's an economic issue. Right. Africa has massive economic disparities between communities, between the haves and the have-nots. The void is great. So in eastern Mozambique, which was a country that's experienced nearly 20 years of civil war and whatnot, well into the 90s. Oh, there's some freshish elephant dung from last night, so hopefully the Ellies are around. Your average household income for the year in the rural parts of that part of Mozambique are around $150 a year. That's what that household earns over a year.
So the incentive is very
massive.
strong. Yeah.
So even though they're getting a very small piece of the rhino horn pie, if they're getting paid $3,000 or $4,000 for a horn,
that's life-changing.
It's life-changing for them. And a lot of people like to go on this, let's shoot the poachers, let's do that. But as soon as you're shooting human beings, I'm afraid you've already lost the battle, because someone will always be there to take their place, and you create animosity towards the wildlife areas and the people working in wildlife. So as I said, it's a very complex issue that doesn't have a single answer. Okay, so I wanted to just check around here.
Some giraffe tracks.
Yeah.
I know there was quite a lot of buzz about wanting to see a giraffe.
Well, I'm sure we'll actually see a giraffe. We've got quite a lot. So have a quick listen. I'm going to check in with one of the other vehicles. Reynard.
Standing by a few, Brent.
Any updates from the south?
No, not so far. I've checked around the railway sliding, I've checked in Ndlovu South, I'm just checking around Kilikopi, and then I'm heading back down to Ndlovu North.
I copy. I'm going to check up towards Red Earth and then start heading south. I'll go past leopard corpies.
Removing a rhino's horn, impacting its ability to defend itself.
Right, copy.
That's a great question.
It is, yeah.
So the thing rhinos have to defend themselves against is, well, apart from obviously human beings at the moment, but we have firearms, is rhinos. So you've got to make sure that if you're going to dehorn, you need to dehorn all your rhinos in the area, just so one doesn't have a competitive edge when it comes to fighting and can do damage, obviously. So
yeah, I saw this great clip of a big rhino that had like 3 lions just on its back, and the rhino could have cared less. He's just going about his day.
So one of the reasons we're just checking water holes early on is that the wild dogs might stop for a drink on their morning hunt. It's also a very good area for leopard. And what we're going to do, I'm going to take you on a sneaky badger road.
Sneaky badger road.
A sneaky badger road.
Yeah.
So our little safari vehicle is quite a lot smaller than your standard vehicle, because we've normally only got 2 people on, a cameraman and a guide. So there's some lovely little spots that the big cars can't get to that we can.
So thinking about conservation, I mean, most people watching probably live in a city, they live removed from this. Again, you guys are very lucky, very strange to be having this just be your normal life, and I'm quite envious, honestly. But from the point of view of a lot of people, they're, I think, really disconnected from what goes on out here or even in their own backyard, because like from the States where I'm from, we've got challenges with mountain lions. I've been in so many circles where I've heard people saying, hey, what we must do is kill all the mountain lions because they're a problem, they're eating like goats. I'm like, just lock up your goats better, that's your fault. Wolves are a big thing in the United States right now. Bears are a big thing.
I still can't believe people shoot wolves.
It's insanity. So what
blows my mind?
What have you guys noticed in how people's general approach to even asking, like, well, what can I do to help? How do I get involved in conservation? Where do people's interests lie in that?
Well, that is a really, really fascinating thing. And so there's lots of different ways you can get involved. And obviously the easiest way, and for a lot of people, sometimes coming to Africa or going to India or the far-flung parts of South America or Asia might not be a reality.
Right.
So just by being involved on the social media groups and sharing and creating awareness will always help. But if you are lucky enough to be able to come out, even if you can't directly donate to certain organizations, and also be very careful before you donate. Unfortunately, like with a lot of things in this world, there are a lot of charlatans out there. Yeah, there's a European roller. Now, they're not going to be around for too much longer. So this is the only roller species. Oh, no, he doesn't like the light. Whoop. Here's the, he's behind us. This is the only roller species that occurs in Africa that doesn't breed in Africa. They breed in Spain, Portugal, south of France. Summer hunters. They don't like the winter, so they spent the African summer with us, and then as soon as we start getting a bit chilly, they head back to Europe.
Maybe that's what I am.
Yeah.
Switch between the hemispheres. If I can live in shorts for the rest of my life, I'll be a happy man.
Okay, so
has COVID impacted your work at all?
Strangely enough, it has initially, obviously, in a negative way.
Right.
As personally, being virtual, obviously, COVID in some ways was quite good to us. But the biggest problem with COVID is it's been affecting the safari industry. And that's what I was about to say. If you are able to, just even coming out to Africa and staying at a lodge, you're supporting people who live on the peripheries, and they're gaining income and employment from the safari industry. So that is a very good thing. Okay, what do we think happened here? There's some quite distinctive things going on. And you see these little lines over here. So, come on guys, what do you think did this? And while you think about that, there's something else to look at over here. So this is the only communal nesting spider species in the world, if I remember correctly, called a community nest spider. So it's a whole bunch of individuals. You can see them, they're tiny. You see them there, Brian? There. Who live together, but actually live separately, but they do hunt together and whatnot. So if anything pops into that web, here we go, there's some more out here on the edge, on the peripheries.
So we've got lots of answers here. We've got rolling on the dirt, lions.
What's rolling on the dirt? I should have probably specified that.
Yeah, well, they say rolling on the dirt, a lion, that's the rib imprint. We've got Ellie dust bathing, dirt bath, feathers, some kind of a snake, aardvark digging.
Oh, lots of answers. None of them right.
And we also have a question at some point if you could address plants. They actually said,
we will
is it okay
be
to talk about plants?
We'll be doing lots of plants.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to do on a virtual safari, I know we've got some of our regulars who join us on Painted Dog there. It's called the Nearly Impossible Tree Quiz. Okay, so any more answers for what's been rolling in the dirt?
They say it's an arachnid Motel 8.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, do you know?
I don't think so, no.
So there's the track.
Oh, wait, is it a...
That's a hard one because of the soft sand. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better. Sharp indentation over there.
That looks like a zebra track.
It is a zebra track.
Oh, so that must be the mane?
No, that's the tail.
The tail.
While he's rolling, the tail's just gone.
Ah, okay.
So it was a zebra, and I was trying to see, not always, I think this is a day or so old, and there was a bit of wind yesterday, but sometimes you can actually find hares. But not this time. No, that's just a root. Anyway, let's keep moving, see what else we can find.
Says buffalo dirt bath.
Unlucky cookie. Now, as we're talking about plants, one of the most important things is soil. And you can see I'm driving in this very sandy sort of riverbed, and I'm not driving over here. Now, this is what we would call a sodic site. So there's a lot of leaching, and we've got high alkaline soils here. So salt and other minerals actually comes up to the surface here. And there's a very unique set of plants that grow on these, the little tiny succulents. But these soils are very sensitive. So if you drive across these soils, you can actually cause erosion and damage to them. So, however, everyone thinks this looks like it's desolate. There's no grass on it. It looks like it's just this big hole. But it is one of the animals' favorite areas, which is why I like driving down this little sneaky track. So, zebra, wildebeest, impala, and a lot of other herbivores are attracted to these sodic sites to eat on those little succulents that are barely visible, and sometimes actually just eat the soil. Now, oh, you smell that? I smell something dead. Okay, this is when we start looking in trees to see if there's a tree climbing impala. Very dead.
Yeah. Tree climbing impala.
Is that it? Okay. So I'm gonna leave you with Alex for a second. I'm just gonna go pop my nose into here quickly. So Alex, just so I can walk quickly, so in case there is a leopard, we'll find it fast.
Yeah. All kinds of great questions coming in, guys. So thrilled you're enjoying the drive so far, and thank you, Connie. I love track and sign. I think it's like reading another language. And the trouble for me is my trips to Africa get broken up in between chunks of having to go back to California. So I come here, I actually scored really high in track and sign. I was 2 points shy of a level 3. I mixed up giraffe and kudu dung. So that was my, the reason I'm not a level 3. But it's tricky because when you go back to California, it's like a use it or lose it thing. But if you just look at the landscape, you can literally read the details. And I get really absorbed in trying to figure out what happened or who's been through here. So I do it back in California, but the trouble is it's a whole different set of animals. And then you come here and you have to refresh your memory on what everything is and roughly how big the feet are. Like we were out the other day and there was a track and I knew it. Like I knew visually, I know that track. I just couldn't remember the animal because I'm a little dumb and forgot what a kudu was. What's that?
Okay, so I found the carcass. Unfortunately, it's not from a big cat, but we'll go have a look. What it looks like is we had our first sort of cold snap in the last couple of days. Well, for us.
I was going to say,
Can't you see? I've got a big warm jacket on this morning. You're in madness. Brian's also long pants, jerseys.
This is perfect for me.
No, it's pretty chilly for us this morning. So we've had our first cold snap. And what happens is, particularly the babies from the baby impala and stuff like that. Just watch the thorns there. Should be close enough that Brian can jump off now. So I'm guessing this baby impala has died from a cold snap, the cold snap. We'll have a closer look. Now, and this is quite recent. And what's absolutely incredible is that the dung beetles have actually found this carcass. So those of you sensitive, to beware, this is a dead baby animal. And what I think has happened is a bird has opened this up a little bit. And now the dung beetles are actually going in to get and making dug balls out of the half-digested stomach contents. But natural causes could be the cold snap. If you're unsure on how an animal was killed, don't touch it without gloves, because we do have anthrax and stuff naturally occurring in this area. So you've got to be a little bit careful.
They're saying that they perish in cold weather too.
So, I mean, most of the babies will survive. However, something like this that probably died in the cold snap, it was probably underlying issues that caused that. And I mean, as harsh as this often is, it is nature.
I just want to quickly comment. We've got dung beetles moving through here.
Yeah.
and I know Megan is watching, who works with Manga Bay, and I work with Megan on the kids section of Manga Bay, and they have a mascot.
We probably won't be doing a kids section on. I'm joking.
They've created a wonderful mascot for Manga Bay Kids, which is
a dung beetle.
Doug Beetle, the dung beetle.
Oh, wow.
You guys should check it out if you have time later. It's just mangabaykids.com. Lots of great stuff. Not this, but
no
other stuff.
Yes. Shame, little impala. Well, unfortunately for us, when I spelt that, I thought there might be a leopard with a kill hanging about, but no such luck this time. And I would say this is relatively fresh. Yesterday midday, 2 nights ago, which is quite strange that the hyenas haven't found it. And the reason the vultures and whatnot haven't found it is we are under a bit of a canopy here. And an elephant died on the next door farm not that long ago, and all the vultures have been sitting at the elephant. Lots of meat food there. Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have to try find another smelly carcass that hopefully has something attached to it.
Yes, Lex, this is a great example of the circle of life. What you realize pretty immediately out here is that everything is connected. It all works in tandem. There's nothing that's here randomly. Everything is.
Sorry, Alex.
No, all good. Everything is part of the circle of life, and I think this is probably just the most classic example of it. But again, I think no matter where in the world you are, you've got your own version of this, just without elephants, probably, and some of the more interesting animals to look at. But interest is whatever you make it to be.
Exactly. I'm just going to update the management group for.
So they're saying dung beetle activity live is actually pretty cool.
It is. We'll try to see if we can find someone on a ball of elephant dung rather than coming out of a baby impala's stomach.
That's a true, I think, Mammalz experience right there. We're bringing you the wild, raw, live.
There's a baby impala that looks like it's died from natural causes.
So I'm just
drainage
following
line
the
just off.
comments here. Let's just check in.
Red Earth.
Do hyenas have a sense if it's not a good meal? Is it disease potentially because it's still there?
Yeah, but hyena is actually one of the ones that seem to be immune to anthrax. Hyenas and lions will eat an anthrax carcass, no problem.
And saying the Cape turtle dove sounds in the background, absolutely wonderful. Like I mentioned,
do you know what a Cape turtle dove says at this time in the morning?
Work harder.
And do you know what he says at 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
Drink lager.
There we go.
Like I said in the kitchen, guys, I have the sounds of the bush playing in my house back in California constantly. I know my wife is watching, so she is a very patient woman to put up with all of that.
There's a magpie shrike. For the birders out there. Waiting for the sun to warm him up.
Pilot mammal show immediately impales cobra on a tree.
Okay, it looks like the north is pretty quiet at the moment. So I think we're going to bomb down south.
Some folks were asking about how long will the drive be. We're going to be driving around for about an hour, but who knows if we get into something good.
Standing by for radar, over.
So thrilled to see some of you guys in the chat, commenting with us and being part of this. Once we get out of the river sheds here and onto some actual roads, we're going to probably throw out some stuff to have you guys help us decide which way to be driving. Because it feels like this morning is kind of a,
just trying to see if we're going to pick up a sign of where the dogs might have gone yesterday off the railway.
But you guys are going to be part of the fun tonight. So I know somewhere we've got actions to be able to take on screen. We'll get those queued up here in a little while. But again, we're not even on a road right now. This is pretty fantastic to be alive in the African bush. Not on a road, just cruising around, totally wild. I wish you guys could be here with us in person, but I think live technology is such a great tool because it allows more people to see places like this with having less physical impact. We're in this lovely Planet of the Apes landscape here. Look at this.
You holding on there, Brian?
Gonna test your rodeo skills here. Is there a South African version of a rodeo?
Not that I'm aware of.
That feels like a very American thing.
Holding on. Let's go into low range. See, the elephants have messed up my exit strategy here, so now I've got to do the 3-point turn to get out. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now is, as I said, we're going to start heading south. It doesn't look like the wild dogs have come this way.
Pepper 13 has won a spot with you guys on a virtual drive.
Oh, welcome, Pepper.
There was a bit of chat about what is this car physically and why this car. I think you mentioned a little of it.
This is the Badger, named after honey badgers. It's a honey badger, it's very tough. It is very maneuverable, wide. So, and firstly, when we started, it was very cheap.
I like it. It's a great reason. It's cheap.
It was cheap. But yeah, it's a 1983 Suzuki SJ Jeep that we have cut apart. No doors.
Not road legal.
No. If the police caught me driving this down the main road in town, I would be in trouble. However, I have driven away from the police in this car down across the railway line where they couldn't follow me when I was moving it from one reserve to another. No, normally if we go film in another reserve, we'll put it on a flatbed.
That makes sense. Although this would be more fun to just take on the highway because it'd be a little bit terrifying.
It'd be horrible on the highway.
Holding up traffic in both directions.
And you would also just be taking bugs out of your teeth the whole time. No windscreen.
Actually, they were asking about bugs. This is famously the time of year where there are theoretically more bugs, right?
Well, we've just had our first cold snap.
So a lot of
the temperature dropped. We're going into dry season, out of the wet season. I think you can see that the grass is a lot. In the last 2 weeks, the grass has gone from sort of emerald green to the sort of yellow. So we will keep a lookout for bugs and spiders and things like that. But compared to 2 weeks ago, there's a lot less than there were.
And just being from the States, a generally colder climate, we have to say cold snapped.
Well, for us, as I said.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do get cold in winter, down to about our average, or the coldest at night is probably about 8-9 degrees C.
Okay, well that's proper cold. That was what it was when I left to come.
And then, but during the day we go up to probably 25 to 30 degrees C in winter. Summer we go up 40 plus on a daily quite regularly.
Looks like we've got Ariana on the drive with us now. Welcome, Ariana.
Welcome, welcome. Oh, look. Looks like some Egyptian geese off to try find some water.
Is that a roller just here?
Yep. Well, hopefully one in a bit better light, but they're yeah, it is Egyptian geese flying in the distance. Choom, off they go. And now we have hopefully a roller that wants to hang around. But oh, it's actually very pretty. Don't fly, don't fly, don't fly, don't fly. You got him, Brian.
That awesome sunrise in the background.
Yep.
And we've got Afrikev asking for shout out to Maddie, who I know is absolutely enamored with birds. Maddie, we've got this lovely roller, which, if I remember right, I think was one of your favorites. And they're appreciating the zoom lens on that thing. That's pretty fantastic.
Only the birds this morning. Off he goes. So it's a bit quiet up in the north, so we're gonna bounce down south quickly. Now that's the thing about being on a real game drive or on a virtual one. We do not know what is around the next corner, literally. Okay, holding on again. This one is one of the tougher ones to do. Alex, don't fall out because the car's going to lean your way a little bit. There you go, went onto 3 wheels for a bit there. I don't know, I've got a gut feeling we need to go past Leopard Dam again. I always trust my gut when I'm out here. So, half of finding animals is thinking like an animal.
They're saying it snows in the Drakensberg. Let's send Alex there for a show. He'd have such a great time.
Yeah. Well, I told you about the place where we're going to be doing a bit of filming in our winter months. It's the coldest place in South Africa. Where it snows every year. It's up in the Rogeberg Mountains.
What a mouthful.
In the Karoo, and there they get minus 25 degrees C quite regularly. That's properly cold.
Well, it sounds like they're voting to send me somewhere cold here for a show, so maybe that's the place.
Yeah, where it's the only place we get snow cheetahs.
Snow cheetahs. I think that would make a wonderful program.
Yeah.
Can you fly drones on the reserve?
We can, but we have to get lots of permission. We're actually in protected airspace. Oh, there's a giraffe.
Oh, yes.
Big boy. Big male giraffe. I'll just stop there. And he's eating a very interesting plant. And any idea which plant he's eating? I can get you a bit closer there, Alex.
Well, my default is always tamboti.
Yep.
With giraffes, yeah.
But do you know why he's eating a tamboti?
No.
He's self-medicating.
Self-medicating? So he's had a late night?
No, so he's probably got quite a few stomach parasites, tapeworms and flukes and such. So the tamboti tree is very noxious. So the multi-latex can be quite poisonous. But so giraffe, baboons, black rhino, elephant and kudu will eat that poisonous tree on purpose when they've got a few parasites in their stomach to actually kill them and purge the system.
This is one tree, definitely don't make firewood out of it.
No, you will get very sick even if you cook on old firewood from a tamboti.
And is it Shangaan or Zulu where their name is Dulameti?
Dulameti.
I'm working on it. I really want to learn the language.
Dulameti, taller than trees.
Yeah, taller than the trees. I think that's so poetic and cool because giraffe, if I remember right, is Arabic in origin.
Yeah, Zarafa is where it comes from.
Yeah.
The one who walks swiftly.
Well, that's still poetic. Okay.
Yeah. So Shangaan, it's Nuntra. 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 N-U-N-HLA.
I've got much to learn. I really want to learn the languages. I think they're just so interesting. What's the name of the tree? Was it
tamboti? For those of you who geek out on scientific, Spirostachys africanum.
That's a cool one.
Because of that, yeah. We'll see if I can get a bit closer. You can see the spines. They're sort of stacked spines on the tree, and their bark looks like crocodile skin. So can you guys out there tell me how long is a giraffe's tongue? And why is it black?
All good questions.
I'm going to see, he's burying his head in there. I'm going to see if I can get Brian in a slightly better position. How's that, Bebop? Of course he's gonna give us a bit of a peruse. Oh, see, you're gonna have to help me there because I don't know feet and I'm metric man.
So 1 meter is about 3 feet.
Okay.
So 2 feet would be just over 6.
3 feet. I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to do the conversions in my head.
3 feet would be about 12 meters.
12 meters?
No,
12 inches. 12 cent. Oh no. It was very
no, that 3 feet is 1 meter, excuse me.
Okay.
Thinking faster than I'm speaking. Need a third cup of coffee.
Okay. Okay. So, oh, what's he seen behind us?
Did you get that from William?
Yeah. No, he's seen something else. Giraffe are really good at spotting things.
Long distance contact call of wild dog. The general direction is in our planes. Go to that area now.
What are you looking at, Mr.? Sorry, I'm just... Sorry, I got sidetracked, guys. So, here we go. Hope you guys have not been using Google. Cheating. But yes, 21 inches.
21 inches, okay.
No, okay, this giraffe's staring too much. I need to check what he's looking at. So giraffes are a really good indicator species. Even if they see lions and leopards and stuff, they'll just stop and stare at them. And
yeah, they're nature's watchtower, like this says.
And I'm sort of been working this area because I've been trying to guess that the dogs were going to be coming from the south to the north. But now I've just got another report that there might be wild dog contact. Oh no, he's staring at a girl. or competition, that's what he's staring at. Oh, there's another big boy. This is a much bigger male giraffe.
Look at the neck, holy cow.
Now there's
that's a giraffe.
That's a prime specimen of giraffe bull. That's what he's staring at. Competition for the ladies. Oh, and lights, but I'll get into better light, Brian. As much as I love seeing giraffe, I'm just disappointed he wasn't staring at a leopard or wild dogs.
I think the people at home are thrilled there. On a normal day, they don't ever see a giraffe, so this is...
Oh, look at that nice silhouetted female in the back there, Brian. There's a sunrise female giraffe.
I think that's one of the biggest giraffes I've ever seen.
No, he's a big boy. He's got a nickname here because of his, he's got very dark coloration.
Is it Tonka? I mean, he's massive.
Blacky Swart.
Blacky Swart.
Which basically means black because of how dark his coloration is. There we go, ossicones. Oh, everyone throwing out the correct terminology. Oh, but that's so beautiful, that sunrise silhouette of the giraffe.
I love this, watching them chew cud. Honestly, that's endlessly entertaining to me, because I'm a simple man.
And you can see how she's moving her ears around, and there's an oxpecker irritating her. Oh, no, she's off. Off she goes. Okay, so I think.
Anyone know why the ossicones are lopsided? Oh, that's from Jeff. I take it Jeff knows the answer to this one. You better know the answer to this one, Jeff. In fact, Jeff, I'm going to make you answer in the comments.
See, and that's why the other male was staring, and just judging from his behavior, well, no, actually I think he's got it wrong. And this actually happens to poor boys in the bush quite often, because obviously they're relying a lot on scent and stuff like that to tell them whether the ladies are interested and whatnot. And she looks very pregnant, so he's obviously picking up on all the different smells from her hormones, making him think that she is feeling amorous when it's probably quite the opposite.
I love his whole vibe here. He's like, what do you want?
Sorry, boy, she's not interested. Oh, Ryan, let's have a look at her using her tongue there. Incredible how, and that is a tree that if you had to go grab with your hand, you would be completely cut apart and bloody. It is a knob thorn. And very interesting that the knob thorns, see, she only took a few bites, and she might not take too many bites because there's quite a lot of knob thorns in this area, and giraffe are quite fond of it. Yep, see, she's already given up, and that means the chemical defense of the knob thorn is working. So if there's one knob thorn that's been fed on a bit too much in the area, they release a chemical into the air that tells all the other knob thorns that they're being heavily fed upon, and it increases their tannins. So the tree actually becomes almost unpalatable to the giraffe. It just tastes bitter and horrible. Mary, I'm sure we probably will see the baby giraffe, but as you know, over the last little while, hasn't been the best for the baby giraffes around here. Our hyena clan has enjoyed them much.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of low flying now. There's been a report of wild dog contact calls back on Impala Plains where we started this morning. So we will still stop to look at stuff, but dogs move incredibly quickly, so we gotta sort of try and make sure we're in the right area. Oh look, big boy, as soon as he moves here, the first giraffe we saw getting out of here.
Reminds me of my high school days.
Yeah. Bye guys. Bye giraffes. So we've actually had, yesterday there were 2 packs of wild dogs around. The one we normally see, which is a pack of 4, and then a pack of 16, which is abnormal for them to come to this area. But wild dogs have such massive home ranges. Your average home range for a pack in this area is over 50,000 acres.
Wow, that's huge. Any relation, or are they just two groups that are both here?
2 groups. I mean, there's always a possibility that one of the dispersals from the smaller group came from the larger group.
Right.
But yeah, if they came across each other now, the bigger group would try, unfortunately, kill the smaller group. Now, there are only about 5,500 wild dogs left in the wild in the whole of Africa, so critically endangered species, the second most endangered canid in Africa.
Aside to the Ethiopian wolf, right?
Correct.
And the reason for this is largely to do with farmers historically, right?
Historically, and just habitat loss.
Habitat loss.
Because they need such vast areas.
Another question I think people have a lot is, how do you remember the roads? Because they're everywhere. They just seem to go everywhere.
I don't know. Just do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be one of those things you just do.
Yeah. Remembering the red names as well can be a bit tough.
But I get it from the point of view of the guest who's traveled here. This must just look like an endless supply of roads that go seemingly nowhere.
Well, generally your roads are put into areas where you're going to have the best chance at seeing some form of wildlife. So a lot of the roads are based off old elephant paths or rhino paths or things like that.
You know, somewhere in the United States, all of our major highways are built on indigenous trading routes.
Yeah.
Whereas here, my understanding is a lot of the highways are built on elephant migratory routes.
Yes, well, yeah. And a lot of the big highways in sort of the ones that travel from like Johannesburg to Zimbabwe and that are on traditional trading routes as well. What's swimming there, Brian? Oh, it's just a Egyptian goose. We're not going to hang around for the geese today, unfortunately, especially if there's a possibility of wild dogs.
How much does it cost to color a wild dog?
Actually, you can answer exactly the veterinary costs and the sort of on the ground costs are around $700, and the collar cost is about about $1,000.
And your viewers help sponsor paying for all that, right?
Yep,
that's incredible.
And some of our viewers, I know Cookie's there.
Cookie's watching. She's excited that we're on our way to find painted dogs.
Yeah. Have contributed to our sort of our emergency fund. So we work a lot with. I thought it was Wild Dog Trust. It's hyena. With the Endangered Wildlife Trust, which is one of the longest standing conservation organizations in South Africa. And they've often got budgets for collarings and stuff like that. However, they don't for emergencies. And one of the biggest threats to African wild dogs is snaring. They move over such vast distances. They often go outside of protected areas into farmland, into community land, and that's where they pick up wire snares. And those are literally murder to the dogs. So we keep a little emergency fund, so grant from the Endangered Wildlife Trust. If there's a report of a wild dog with a snare, he can give us a shout, and we grab the vets and off we go. And that's $650 a time. Last year, there's elephant tracks here. Which way are they going? They're going this way. Last year, because of COVID, actually, there were I think it was over 56 snares on wild dogs alone. Wow. Last year. The year before that, there were 7. Now, because of COVID and a lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people have turned to subsistence snaring to try to provide meat and food for their families.
So previous to COVID, had things been generally trending better in that department?
Sorry, 1 second.
No worries.
JP, I'm also to be making my way into that area. I'm coming east on Marula Lane at the moment.
Hello, Julie. Welcome to the show. We've got Diane here as well. You haven't missed much at all. We're actually just going to see if we can find the dogs. We've got some reports that they're out this way. So grab something fun to drink if it's the appropriate time of day for you, and enjoy.
Sorry, what was that question?
I'm just forgetting now. It was dogs, it was snares.
Oh, COVID,
yes. That was it. So previous to COVID, had incidents with snaring generally been trending down?
Yes. So meat snaring and stuff it's always around, but it wasn't bad. But can you imagine a lot of people lost their jobs during COVID,
right.
Particularly a lot of people who are traditionally in the tourism industry,
right,
or the game farming industry and stuff like that, which was completely obliterated during COVID. And so a lot of people with some serious bush skills had no money, no income, and needed to feed their family.
And snares are awful because they're so indiscriminate.
They are. And often if the guys who are laying the snares realize that there might be anti-poaching guys around and stuff, then they just don't go to that area. So you can have animals stuck in snares without actually even being utilized. So wild dogs make the contact, which is what JP heard, means that they've already been out hunting. As I said, that sort of 10 minutes before first lights when they get moving, and they are coursing hunters. So they cover massive distance and at high speed. So they can keep up a speed of 60, 70 kilometers an hour for up to 4 kilometers when chasing prey. So they do get separated quite often. And what that ends up with them doing is they need to find each other afterwards. And they have a wonderful thing called a who call. So you hear this whoo, 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 whoo.
Sounds like a chimp.
Higher. Yeah. And so those chimp who calls are quite soft generally, in my experience with chimps. But yeah, it's...
No, those birds periodically taking off on the road. I've seen some starlings, and then I've seen some hornbills.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not magpies.
No, we don't. The closest thing we got to a magpie is that shrike we saw earlier, which is a magpie shrike.
I know it's probably moving a little too fast for you guys to see on camera here, but I'm just absolutely loving that in addition to everything else going on, we've got elephant tracks continuing on the road.
Giant leadwood.
Giant leadwood. It's a tree that can stand for what, several thousand years?
Yeah,
even
after they're dead. But
and the wood is extremely dense.
It will sink if you put it into water. No, seriously, it does.
So don't build a ship out of it.
Yes, do not.
If you could actually cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, we're literally driving along elephant tracks just here, and it's moving the same direction we are. So again, the infinite possibility of what's around is incredible, and it's super addictive. Like I said earlier, people ask me all the time at home, well, why Africa? You know, I have a story about why I'm here, but why not Africa? This is, first of all, fundamentally a landscape that people are from. This is where humanity started. So being here, your body just can't help but feel like it's home. And the more time you spend in the bush, more time you spend in wild places, the more you start to understand it. And it's this euphoric feeling that I haven't found a good way to describe it, but I'm deeply envious that they get to spend their entire lives here. And I'm, for now at least, just occasionally commuting through as often as I can, desperately searching for a way to make this my entire life as well. So I hope that energy, that feeling comes through the camera to all of you at home. Because what's down the road, who knows?
Well, hopefully some wild dogs.
You made some dogs at home react to your who calling.
This is Impala Plains, where JP said he thought he had the audio from.
And this is where we started our drive, right?
Yep. Now, the thing with dogs is they move so quickly. Let's go check up on the northern side of the plain.
You've also scared some cats. You're who calling.
So we're just listening, hoping to hear the who call. There's a starling over there. Where are the dogs?
Easily spooked.
No, not at all. Hey, maybe let's check the water hole in front of the house. There's a Cape Glossy Starling. There's Orange Eye. The one thing is, when the wild dogs are around, your zebra, wildebeest, impala, all your prey species are really spread out. And when you start seeing ones and twos, you know the dogs are around, because they are such successful hunters compared to, I mean, lion and leopard, they have a average success rate for about 11 or 12% when they hunt, and wild dogs sit from 65 to 75%. Okay, so there's a water hole in front of our house, so I think we're going to go have a quick look there. It's also where those elephant tracks were heading.
Mars 54's won a free drive with Painted Dog TV.
Hi, Mars.
Congratulations.
Now, the one amazing thing is that you can actually smell the dogs sometimes before you see them. But I haven't smelt dogs yet this morning. What are you shouting at, squirrel? I think they're just waking up. See them there, Brian, yeah.
Plains area. We're going to continue making our way towards Leopard Dam. It's impossible that we might have been from the other side of the trip line.
Little squirrels. Cleaning his tail, getting ready for the day. One of our most numerous mammal species, tree squirrels.
But of course, the hold up.
Oh, martial eagle. And he must have, that's what the squirrel's shouting about. Has he got something, Brian? No. Oh, wow. Now, that is our biggest eagle species that we get here. Oh, listen to the mongoose. He's trying to grab a mongoose. Can hear the mongoose alarm calls underneath him. So there's a troop of banded mongoose. So this is a juvenile martial eagle. Look at him looking down at the mongoose. I can just hear all their alarm calls.
This is real life Jurassic Park.
Oof, they're really upset, the mongoose.
I would be too. I don't want to be breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that face. Just incredible. I can never get over in raptors just that steely look they have. It's deeply menacing, but in the best possible way. They're not happy.
Shame. The mongooses must be panicking. Now, a big female, one of these, wingspan, you're going to have to do the conversion for me here, and it's going to be 2.4 meters. I'm 6'3".
Yeah, so that's...
No,
it's more. It's
much more.
About 8 feet.
8 feet.
Yeah. Let's go with that as a safe round number. It's right around there.
There we go. SA peak. I was ahead of you there. Wingspan 2.4 meters. 1.8 to 2.4 meters. Just trying to figure out if there's any way that those mongoose are probably sort of under a fallen tree or something where he can't get to it.
Got a standoff here.
Yeah.
It's like Clint Eastwood vibes. That's what I'm getting here.
So they feed off a variety of things. So even baby impala, I've seen them take baby impala quite regularly. Monkeys, monitor lizards is one of their favorites. Obviously mongoose, other birds as well. Franklin, guinea fowl. Oh, is he trying? Let's see if we can just... Oh, that's actually still good there. I'm not going to move just yet. He's just desperately trying to find a way to get breakfast. And the banded mongoose are desperately trying not to be breakfast. Skipper, the bird drives a Gran Torino. Clint Eastwood there. What you up to? He's sort of, to me it looks like he's deciding whether, obviously my approach wasn't good enough. But the fact that he's behaving like this, which is quite unusual for a martial eagle, means he's probably had success in harassing mongoose like this before. So a lot of animal behavior can be different from the same species in different areas. It is not related to the Philippine or harpy eagle. It is they're a standalone African species, the martial eagle.
Eagles are such a weird taxon anyway. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh. Mongoose PTSD. I suppose you imagine it's very stressful.
You almost feel bad, but it's adorably cute.
The noise.
Yeah.
Jeff, it's banded mongoose from the sounds. Actually visit our garden quite often, this troop of banded mongoose. Or actually, troop is sort of the more common one, but do you know what the original English collective noun for mongoose is?
I'm trying to remember. I do, but it's one of those things you never use and it just gets lost.
A business.
That's it, yeah.
A business of mongoose.
My favorite is a conspiracy of lemurs.
It's also a conspiracy of ravens.
Are there? I thought it was an unkindness of ravens.
It's a conspiracy, if I remember correctly. And a murder of crows.
It's crows. That's me.
A dazzle of zebras.
Journey or a tower of giraffes.
A crash of rhinos. A parade of elephants.
You know, my
A
favorite
shrewdness of monkeys.
My favorite are baboons and owls, because I think a lot of these were come up with by British men.
Yes.
So baboons are an animal traditionally seen as idiots, and they said, well, if we have a group of those, we'll call them a congress.
Yeah.
And then a group of owls are usually associated with intelligence. They said, well, let's call it a parliament.
Yeah. And one of my favorites is actually the original for the buffalo, African buffalo. It's an indomitability of buffalo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then for wildebeest, obviously referring to the Great Migration, an implausibility of wildebeest. A prickle of porcupines. Oh, I think the mongoose have escaped.
Yeah, they've quieted down.
No, it's still there. As soon as he moved his head a bit. And I do like that one as well, Michelle. An exaltation of larks. Africa's juvenile, meaning how old? Just judging from the coloration and stuff like that, probably around 3 years, 4 years old. What I can do is show you what a big one looks like. Once we've finished looking at him. It takes about 7 years in total to get adult plumage. And as I said, I'd say he's a 3 or 4 year old. He hasn't started developing his chest band yet. Yes, there we go. So that's what he'll look like, or she will look like when she's big.
It's really a stunning bird.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's your head there, Alice. Yeah. So it takes about 5 to 7 years to get that adult plumage, and at about 4.5, 5, they start forming the chest band. So that's why I say 2 to 3 years old, this bird. And they live up to sort of 40, so they're quite long-lived birds. A snuggle of sloths, I've never heard that one. How far are we from the eagle? Currently probably 40 meters. And we started a bit closer. But I think this juvenile is going to carry on. Oh, trying to grab himself a mongoose. And we're going to try grab ourselves an elephant. I think. Hoping it's a bit warmer now. Warm enough for me to
brave the cold.
Brave the cold. Take off my jacket. And I think let's just go check around the waterhole in front of the house. And I haven't made Alex eat anything yet.
I'm hungry. I haven't had breakfast.
I don't think you should. Kai is much nicer when he feeds people than me. Oh, what happened?
They took off.
Ah, he's given up.
He's gone. Maybe circling back, they're gone.
Mongoose, run, 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 run!
Do many birds live that long? 40 years for the eagles.
Ground hornbills also. Quite a few species actually are quite long-lived. Parrots, quite a lot of the parrots can live for a very long time.
That's one of those people get as a pet.
There's another one of their favorite foods.
They're getting fat.
And you see all the babies. Yeah, so he will actually try eat them as well. Hi, bye guinea fowl, disappearing into the grass. Okay, no, Africavs.
Not quite an adult.
No. So they'll only they only reach adult plumage is about 5 or 7 years old, and then that's. Oh, I hear another eagle calling. Where's that Warburgs? I can hear you, Warburgs. You hear that high-pitched sort of whine? Where's the Warburgs eagle? Their nests over here, but they should have. There it is again. You hear it calling.
Yeah.
I can hear a Warburgs. We should find it now. Sounds like we're getting closer to the call. And we should be able to see it. It sounds like we're on top of it. And it's just sitting like behind a branch here somewhere. There it is. Back end of that. So we've gone from the largest eagle species we see regularly to the smallest. It is a Warburgs eagle.
How's that for theming?
Sandy, they indeed do. So we just saw the largest eagle species we get regularly to the smallest of the true eagles, the Aquila eagles. Oh, talking. Yeah. Oh, right here. So further to the west. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go there right now. I've just got a little report of something, guys.
So, guys, I do see that we're
okay, but walking on the Jajani Road.
Sorry, we're just receiving some information.
Sorry, on our side.
I do see that we're coming near our 2-hour mark, but like I said, if we get into something, we're gonna live.
We're gonna extend for a little bit.
I totally understand if you guys want to bow out after 2 hours. I mean, the fact that you've been with us the entire time is nothing short of a miracle. I deeply thank you
so much.
But we did just get a report of something quite interesting. I don't want to say just yet. We're going to head in the way that our informant told us. So sit tight, enjoy. I'm not sure how long we're going to go, but
hold on.
It's an adventure.
Ferrari safari time. Should I get my jacket on? Oh, he's trying to eat the guinea fowl, although we might not make it. He just tried to grab a guinea fowl, the martial eagle. He's harassing all the creatures around here. Now you can hear the guinea fowl alarm calling. As I said, he'd like to eat guinea fowl. Okay, I'm gonna keep rushing to just try and get us this last gasp large mammal.
Yeah, no, I'm just reading through the comments here. We will stay live as long as I think we possibly can on this adventure because, again, the magic is what's around the next corner. Well, when you get a little tip, that always helps. So yeah, don't go anywhere. We're in it now. If you bail out at this point, I mean, what's the point? We've got some great info. And I'm just trying to see. It looks like somebody won a whitelist spot on the naturalist. I just can't find where it's gone here in the chat. TD Enrico, I think, is one.
Well done.
Mispronounced that. A whitelist spot on the naturalist. Congratulations.
Ferrari Safari now.
Oh yes. Jeep jockey time.
It's where Brian's balance comes in. It's a good thing you were in the circus for a while, Brian. That's not even a joke, guys. Brian used to be in the circus.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So you're putting those weird skill sets to work here. I love it. And just a quick shout out to Alex Finden and the whole Mammalz team behind us. They're really the reason we're all here together today. I take it at this point most of you have checked out Mammalz, but if you haven't, I'm sure Mammalz will throw in more information about how to join the Mighty Network or see more about the other upcoming live opportunities, because in addition to Misguided, there's going to be 4 other shows for this first slate, and they're all going to be equally interesting and wonderful and have so many unique ways of talking about nature, because that's really what we're interested in here on Mammalz, is how do we explore the world, how do we do it live, and how do we take you on adventures like these to share the magic of our planet. So again, I take it you've all probably met the whole Mammalz idea and philosophy up to this point, but if you haven't, definitely worth a look. I think, no, yeah, there should be up at the top of the page here. I'm just looking, you should probably click on the Mammalz thing. If I'm wrong, Alex, please correct everybody. But yeah, just definitely a shout out to Mammalz, who've created this wonderful community for us to all be part of. And I have a personal thank you to them because, again, they're the direct reason I'm sitting here right now bringing this adventure to you with the wonderful folks at Painted Dog TV.
Yeah, holding on. Whee! So hopefully we're going to make it in time. We'll find what the...
All the time in the world, right?
Yes. All the time in the world till till you can't find the animal.
Yes, what do you all think this animal that we're hoping to find is going to be? I'm seeing some guesses come through already, but curious, what do you guys think we're after here?
Anywhere around here. Apparently moving west on the cut line. We're going west on the cut line. Not seeing the tracks though. Maybe he's moving on the inside. It's a cool move. With these guys, can march some serious distance in a quick time. I'm gonna check here.
Looks like we've got all kinds of stuff here. Leopards, ellies, elephants, lions. Who knows?
I just want to make sure it hasn't gone. So it looked like a track coming down here in the grass. Quite fresh. Go around the next corner. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll head across and then up the next road as well, just in case.
You know, guys, it's always really cool to think you can be looking for big animals and they completely get swallowed up by the bush.
Yeah.
This time of year, especially when the bush is much thicker than it would be at other points in the year. The main tourist season is what, through June? Through
June,
September.
June to September.
Yeah.
Although October is my personal favorite time of the year.
Gorgeous.
But it is also called Suicide Month. It's really hot, really dusty, but it's the best time for sightings. Now, I know we've been sidetracked and we've jumped all over the place depending on what we've seen today, but we do have one more little video to show you, and this is how you can, if you do want to come out to Africa, you can get hold of the guys at Mammalz and they can get hold of us and Alex, and you can, oh, elephants. And while I figure a way around this, I think this is the perfect time to play you this video.
Join Painted Dog TV and our conservation partners as we work together to protect and conserve wildlife in Africa. You can join us live from anywhere in the world to do your part for the magnificent wildlife of Africa. Welcome to the Timbervite Game Reserve, the world's first ever live virtual elephant collaring. Very important to keep the elephant breathing, so always pop a stick in the trunk. Absolutely amazing. This is 100% live, coming to you from the middle of the Timbervite Game Reserve. No, he's being even nastier. I thought he was going to walk out into the open. Is he going to walk out into the open for us?
Oh, sticking with it.
Right, we're going to have to catch up with him, I think. There he is. There's about 5,500 kilograms of hiding grey matter. Okay, let's get a bit closer to him. Young bull, probably in his mid-20s. Hey, big boy. Oh, he might come say hello to us. Hi. Oh, you're so scary. We're petrified of you. So that's just quite normal elephant bull behavior. He's saying, I'm big, I'm scary, don't mess with me. And if you don't run away from him, he normally gets sheepish and runs away from you. So quite often these young bulls behave like that, like a young human man. I'm big, I'm tough, and then you don't run away. It's like, oh, I'm not actually going to do anything. Let's just try and get a little bit closer again. Hey, big boy. He was completely fine, much closer to us. What you going to do, mister? I thought so. Just carry on eating.
He's got to put on a show first.
Yeah, he is putting on a proper show. I wonder if it's the sheepish one, the naughty one, who's been breaking into the garden. That's why he's posturing. It wasn't me. I didn't break your whole gate down 2 nights ago. And ate all the marula fruit in the garden. Oh. Okay, we'll try to get one last good view of him. And again, we never want to sort of harass the animals, even though with elephants, that type of behavior, he's not really angry, he's more just sort of like, hey. And elephant behavior is fortunately quite, ooh, lots of stumps there, we're going to go another way. Actually, no, we can get through here. Once you learn elephant behavior well, it's quite easy to read, and it's actually quite difficult to get yourself into trouble with elephants if you know how to read their behavior. And a lot of people come back with, I got charged by an elephant stories, and he did that, which is not a charge. And what quite often happens is people are inexperienced or whatnot will then start the car, rev the engine. Can you imagine an elephant? That revving noise is very aggressive. And they will then drive away quickly. And a lot of these young boys, particularly in places like Kruger, are actually taught to chase cars by people thinking they're charging when they're not. I think he's just looking for marula fruit.
We've got a leopard on the front line near Green Tech in the corner.
Copy, is it static or is it moving?
Moving towards
Hi, big boy. So when you've got a shot you like, Brian? Yep. Picking up the last of the marulas.
gives us his grey bottom.
Well, I can't think of a more perfect siding to finish this on.
Not at all.
That was pretty epic. Thank you so much, Brent.
Thank you, Alex, for coming to join us out here in the middle of the African bush, live.
And guys, if you enjoyed this, I hope to be able to bring so many more episodes working with Painted Dog every step of the way. Misguided is a show that's going to try to introduce you to the people, places, and wild things that make our planet really just a special place. And quite frankly, I can't think of a better place in the entire universe to be than right here on planet Earth. So sharing those adventures, sharing those experiences, and meeting the people who work with them is really the whole point of the show. So if you like this is just the beginning. I thought, what better way to start this adventure off than Game Drive with Painted Dog? But they'll be with us every step of the way as we build this out and explore not only Africa, but eventually the whole world, except for the poles, right?
Yeah, we struggle to do live out of the North and South Pole.
Yeah. But until next time, thank you guys so much for being with us today. I deeply appreciate that you were here, that this was possible. Thank you, Mammalz, for making any of this come to life. It was such a pleasure to bring this to you, and we'll see you next time.